Fear stops us from achieving our true greatness. Are you a professional woman who is feeling stuck, unmotivated, or burned out? Are you worried about your wellness? Are you letting fear stop you from crushing your goals? If you answered yes to any or all of these, then this is the podcast for you. Dr. Charmaine Gregory, night shift emergency physician, burnout thriver, and wellness champion, along with everyday heroes just like you, will explore how to face fear in our lives and emerge victoriously.
Hello. Welcome back to the Fearless Freedom with Dr. G podcast. Thank you for spending time with us here. We appreciate you. Well, I appreciate you. There you go. So, we're coming into those final weeks. We are literally around the corner from the election. So I have got to put another plug in for us to go out and vote. #MedVote. Now, as citizens of the United States, we have the right to vote. For many, that right has come with great sacrifice by those who preceded us. This is an opportunity to exercise your right. So please vote. Every vote does count, and you can make a difference. Several physician podcasters are spreading the word about getting out and voting in these weeks here. And so what have I done to help out? Well, I'm telling you about it. I'm encouraging you to go and vote. And I myself have already dropped off my ballot at the county clerk's office. So super excited about having the ability to exercise my right to vote. Great, absolutely fantastic news, tremendous news, fabulous news. Thanks to you, we have totally crushed the 16,000 downloads milestone. Can you believe that? I can't believe it. I'm still trying to pinch myself. Wait, ouch. I'm pinching myself because this is amazing. And not only that, we are on the way towards 17,000 downloads. I mean, you have come through like bandits, and I am just so honored and so excited for that. So thank you for helping to make this podcast a success. And of course, I'm doing my happy dance, as you probably can't see, but I'm sure you can hear. And so thank you so much for subscribing to the podcast, listening to the podcast, sharing it with a friend or two, and leaving a 5-star rating. All of those actions are greatly appreciated. So let's talk about swag. So, I have been basically asking over the last several weeks, what do you want to have in the swag shop? What do you want in the tribe's swag shop? And I've gotten some really cool answers. I got blue blockers, jump drives, earphones, masks, stickers, water bottles. Oh yeah, some amazing ideas. And I know you can't see me, but literally this is what I'm doing. I am putting on a blue blocker set of glasses, and I am looking at the screen with said glasses. And these could potentially be an item that is in the swag shop. So I know you can't see, but trust me, they are fire. You all know that we have the podcasting course. We know we have the podcasting launch course. You know that I talk about it every single week because it's super exciting to me. I just love to see other professionals getting out there and having their voice be heard. And if I can help in any way, I am super excited to do that. And so I'm literally over the moon when I think about the fact that we have, the shows that are out already and the amazing content that comes out from these shows. Pure fire. Pure fire. So check out the 3 shows that are currently out. Show them some love by subscribing, leaving a 5-star rating, sharing, and leaving a positive comment. So Dr. Mila brings the heat in Pivot and Bloom. And she talks about how you can change, flourish, and repeat. And she does so in top form. So you really have got to check out her show. The next one up is the Drama-Free Workplace with Patty Perez. Now, Patty brings the fire. She is an amazing woman who knows the art of the crucial conversation and how to basically fizzle out drama in the workplace as well as in life. So you should check that one out. And then Living at Your Finest with Dr. Babalola is off the charts when it comes to bringing the heat. She does a phenomenal job talking about things that are fun, fundamental, and faith-based. And she brings it with talking about personal development items, talking about health, and tying it all together so that we can utilize it in practical life. So check these shows out, show them some love, and I totally appreciate and thank you for doing so. Now, maybe you're all fired up because you're hearing about all these amazing shows and they're crushing it, and maybe you want to start your podcast. Well, let me tell you, now is a really good time. Podcasting is just continuing to grow, continuing to be a great source for you to be able to be the ear in the ears of your tribe. You get to be the expert opinion that they listen to, and you get to have that relationship with them. So if you're interested in being part of the podcasting launch course and you would like to be part of a facilitated course that's going to help you to go from concept to launch, then definitely go to bit.ly/PLC waitlist and get on the waitlist, because oh my goodness, the course, I'm excited about the course. I want to take the course even though I created it, but I feel like, wow, this course is awesome. It's everything I wish I had when I got started. So don't hesitate, get out there and do that. Maybe you're saying, oh my gosh, I'm way too busy to participate in a facilitated course, but I still want to get my show started. No problem. Got you covered. Now, all you have to do for the podcast in a box is essentially provide the audio for your first 5 episodes, and we will do the rest. We'll do the heavy lifting for you and get your show up and running in top form. So that you can access at ferventlyfitwithcharmaine.com/D as in dog, F as in fish, Y as in yes, -podcast -marketing. So get off the fair fence today. Your tribe is waiting patiently, but you got to be careful because you don't know how long they'll wait for your voice. Okay. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you and working with you, because I am just super excited to see the amazing shows that you are going to create. Now, today on the show, we have a duo. We have 2 individuals, Nora and Ani, and they are childhood best friends who basically share a very common and trying situation. So they were having difficulty with fertility, and they share their amazing store or product or business that has come out of their journey, and it's called Norani Baby, and it's really cool because it's a combination of both their names. So check it out. This is going to be pure fire. I know you're going to love it.
We got you.
Yes,
you know exactly what
you
you're
guys
talking
know
about.
the family situation, right? Exactly.
I literally gave my son the Blippi YouTube video, and I'm like, Mommy needs to record something. I need you to be quiet.
Oh, indeed. That works really well. That absolutely does. Fantastic. All right, here we go. Hello, Fearless Freedom Tribe. It is Dr. G, and today, not only do we have one amazing guest, but we have 2 amazing guests on the show. And today we have Nora and Ani, and they're going to talk about who they are and what amazing things they are up to. Ladies?
Hi. It's so nice to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yes. No, thanks for being on the show.
I'm Ani.
And I'm Nora.
Yeah, and together we run Norani Baby. It's a baby brand that we are very passionate about, and it's something that, we created as 2 moms. And we actually launched originally with a baby swaddle called the Snuggle Babe Swaddle, because when Nora had her daughter, we were talking about how difficult it is to swaddle a baby. And my son, who was born the year before, was like a baby magician. So he was always getting out of his swaddle. We're like, there has to be a product that makes moms' lives easier, that helps babies sleep longer. So it took us a little over a year and a half, really, to kind of perfect that design. And we swaddled like maybe over 100 babies. Like anytime someone would have a baby,
can I borrow your baby? I just want to try something.
We would be like, we need to stop by really quickly and we need to take notes and take some photos. So we literally went around town swaddling babies until we finally perfected the design of our swaddle. And that's how the idea came about, and that's how we launched our product. And we launched officially in November of last year. And we're just so excited. We're already brainstorming about the next products that are going to come out. And Nora, you want to take over?
Yeah, I mean, it took us 2 years. Ani and I, some background on Ani and myself. We've known each other since we were 15 years old. And after we graduated college, we both went into business together, and that we ran a digital media company together. And 2.5, 3 years ago, we left that company and we started all over again. And it was very scary. And in between all of that, we also tried to have babies, which wasn't so successful at first for us. So we went down the journey of fertility. And now we are proud parents of 2 babies each, with a new business.
Wow. So 3 babies.
3 babies. Yeah, we've had a lot on our plate.
Indeed. Wow. So look at that. So the fear piece has already come up. I didn't even have to go digging. So you have to tell us, there's definitely several places there where we can kind of dig deep. So you talked about how you had the first business, right? So you had a digital marketing business, is that right?
Digital
media business. And so did you, was there, you're freshly out of college and now you're gonna just start this business. Was there fear associated with that initial go around?
So when you're in your 20s and you just graduate college, you're in your 20s, I feel like you have no fear. Fear comes along as you age and as you mature. And so the first round, we didn't even think about it. We had nothing to lose. We're like, let's do this. Let's start this company. And we started with entertainment news. We had an online website. And we hustled for 10 years. And, this time around, when we left there, we sold our shares, we left. It took us 2 years to really, also build the courage, aside building the product, build the courage to launch.
Okay.
Because now we have more on the table. We have more to lose. We have a family. You just can't throw yourselves out there. So a lot of thinking went on, and thankfully we are best friends. We have been best friends. We're like sisters at this point. So we had each other to kind of get through, talk through, and really push ourselves to, start a new company as new parents.
Wow.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Nora. And one thing that I would add on to that is I feel like as we've gotten older, it's just that the risks are a little bit more calculated. When you're younger, like Nora said, you're a little bit more careful. You're like, let's try this. Let's do that. Let's do that. But now we're like, oh my God, let's calculate the loss and the this and the that. You feel like you definitely put more work into your risks to make sure it's more calculated, because as Nora mentioned, there is more on the table. There is more to lose.
And maybe there's also that factor of when you're younger, you just don't know, right?
Yep.
I mean, now you know, because you're have more years on the planet. So you're like, wait, no, if we do this is what could happen.
Exactly.
True.
No, that's great. That's a fabulous story. And then, the whole one, you had me at, the magician child, because our first child, basically day one. Now, this is to set the stage. My husband is amazing. So he went to daddy boot camp before our son was born, and he learned all about how to swaddle. He learned all the things, right? So we thought we were ready, and we just weren't ready.
You're never ready.
We brought him home. Hey, you're never ready. We brought him home and we put him in his crib. We swaddled him up, put him in his crib, and then, we just kind of heard like a lot of rustling on the baby monitor. We heard like a lot of rustling, and we're kind of like, what is that sound? We came into the room kind of on a tail end. That little guy was basically shimmying. I mean, he shimmied for a good few minutes until he was able to get one hand out and then the other. And then he like wiggled himself out, and then he started crying.
That is
He
exactly
couldn't
what
believe it.
To my son. That's why I called him a baby magician. And then one night in the middle of the night, I looked at the monitor, and the blanket, he had not only gotten out of the blanket was covering his face. And I swear I had a heart attack. And I was like, he should
every
not
parent's
be able
heart
to get
attack.
out of-
Yes, that is.
I was like, my God, did he stop
scary.
breathing? What happened? And honestly, that's kind of like where the talks started of like, there needs to be a swaddle that feels like a traditional swaddle of like, that same shape of how you swaddle, but one that they cannot get out of.
Right.
So we always joke internally that like our swaddles are like little baby straitjackets, because no matter how much they shimmy, they just can't get out.
Right. No, that's fabulous. So I'm just saying that because clearly there's a pain point there. So clearly. And for me, that was 12 years ago. So, there's definitely a pain point. So kudos to you guys for putting that together, because man,
Thanks.
your son is not the only magician, that's kind of
Yeah.
put that out there. Awesome. And then, so you alluded to another product line that you are coming up with. Can you give us a sneak peek on that, or are you still in the process of creating?
We actually have our samples and our prints ready. So we are just finalizing some last minute touches, and we are going to be launching crib sheets and changing pad covers. And we are also working on pajamas and sleep sacks. So there's going to be like a lot of things coming in the near future that we are just taking our time to perfect, because, once you launch a product, you can't take it back. So it has to be perfect.
Oh, no, that's
and
great.
with COVID, it obviously hasn't been easy.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's been a lot of delays.
A lot of delays.
Yeah, I'm sure in the process level. I don't know the supply chain, how that works, but I'm sure that there have been some issues there.
Yeah,
because it's a global thing, so the entire world was on lockdown.
Absolutely.
So definitely some delays.
Absolutely. All right. So then so the business is just you two? Is there anybody else in your families that are involved in this, or no?
Well, by default, our husbands are involved.
Well, we definitely put them to work. My husband's a lawyer, so we make him do all of our contracts.
Fantastic.
Nora's husband is a doctor, so he had a lot of input on, the swaddling and
Excellent.
and things like that. So we put them to work just by default of just being married to us.
No, that's fabulous. Hey, you know what? If you could keep the business in the family, you should certainly do it. Oh my God.
We test all our products on our kids. Ani has a newborn at home. So we've been testing.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, congratulations on the baby.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's exciting. Wow. Yeah. I was just talking to my youngest not too long ago. Actually, she's standing right here. But yeah, and that was 8 years ago. And I was saying that, man, I remember the things that you did when you were a baby. And so it's like, when you're going through it, you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is happening right now. I'm not getting any sleep. And, this lovely human is not giving me any feedback whatsoever. All I'm doing is just pouring into this person, like pouring in, and not getting feedback. And then when you get to that point where you're like so sleep deprived, you're just like so tired, and you're like, really? They said this was going to be a lot easier than it actually is. And you feel like, why did I do this? That's when they turn over and they like flash that gummy smile. You're just like, oh my gosh, I love you so much.
You just described parenthood in like a few sentences.
You described Ani this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. And nobody talks about it. Nobody tells you so beforehand. So it's just kind of like, really?
Nobody
but I kind of know why they don't though.
right at the point where you're about to have a breakdown, they smile at you and you're like,
exactly.
okay.
Yes. It's like a safety mechanism, like some kind of defense mechanism such that you don't, so that you keep having them. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, that you like protect them and love them.
I'm convinced that they start smiling just at the time when your body is literally so tired it cannot go on.
Indeed, for sure.
And I feel like you forget. It's like amnesia for the first 4 months.
Oh yeah.
So that's why you decide to have another one.
That's right.
Yeah. You forget what it's all about.
Truly. I mean, my son is
baby.
3.5. Sorry, Nora. My son is 3.5, and I'm like, now I'm doing all the newborn stuff again. And I was telling Nora, I forgot about this. I forgot about that. Like, there's so much involved. You forget.
I have a 9-month-old, and Ani was just newly pregnant, and I would be like, man, I'm like, you don't understand how hard it is. I'm like, you forget.
Oh yeah.
And then with a 2, she's like, oh, how is it with 2? She would always ask me. I'm like, this is next level. We thought having 1 was hard. This is next level, because you can't do when baby naps, you nap.
Exactly.
You're just on all the time.
Continuous. Yes, indeed. It's so funny. Oh my gosh. Wow. I thought I was the only person who went through this.
When do we get to sleep again?
No, exactly. Well, you do. Because once they get to that point where they're a little bit more independent, and then you have the advantage of having multiple children. So, they will entertain each other. So there is at a point when you get to sleep.
When is that?
So when does that
So probably, so you said you have a 3-year-old. So probably when your youngest is like maybe about 1 or 2, when they can actually and because right now the 3.5-year-old doesn't really find the baby that entertaining, right? Because the baby can't play whatever it is.
Yeah, she's only 3 months old. She just basically eats, sleeps, and poops.
Right, exactly. So when she gets to the point where she can interact with the other child, then that's when you'll be able to have the 2 play together, and then you'll get some time.
All right, you're giving me hope here.
Yeah, no, there's hope. Trust me. I had 3 children under the age of 4 at one time.
Wow.
So, it was experience that was very interesting. But now they're literally, like I said, once they got to the point where they were able to entertain each other, it's a whole other world, because they're best friends with each other, and they do all the things together. And so that gives you an opportunity for you to, get some time where you can do your thing.
As long as I can just have a cup of coffee while it's
hope.
Warm,
There's hope.
I'm okay. Yeah,
Indeed. There's hope. And and the thing that people always say is true too. The whole thing where while you're in it, you're like, oh my God, these days are so long. Like you're so stressed about it. But then when you look back and you're like, wait, I have a 12-year-old. The years go by very quickly. So the
days are long, but the years are short.
The days are long and the years are short. Absolutely. That's the saying. I couldn't remember how it went. But it's like, the thing is that you're in the middle of it. You have to almost take a pause and take pictures or do something, journal or something, because it does go by really quickly, and you feel kind of like you missed things, even though you didn't miss them, but you were in survival mode for such a while that you didn't get a chance to really appreciate the moments. And so I was super happy that, of course, the first child gets all the pictures, and the second child, gets less. And then the third child, basically you have to get one of those criminal drawing people to, if they ever go missing, you have no pictures. Is that true, honey? She's looking at me like, oh my God, Mom. She's looking horrified. No, that's not the case for you. And so, but that's generally what happens, right? Because you're busy. The first baby gets all the attention because, it's a novel thing. It's, we have all the time in the world, technically, whatever we think, to give to this child. And then when you have the second child, now you're dividing your time. You're dividing your time between the 2. And so you don't have that extra time to, chronicle everything or whatever it is that you'd be doing. And so it's just good to, keep, even if it's once a month, write down, this is what I appreciate about this stage. for each child. And it just makes all the difference. Take a picture even once a month or something like that, just so that you have something to look back on and appreciate the stage, because you oftentimes are not appreciating the stage while you're going through it, because you're just trying to keep your head above water as best you can.
Yeah,
right.
that's
So
true.
yeah, so that's the one thing I'd say about that. That saying is very, very, very true. Awesome. And then so we talked about, starting that first business. And then we talked about the fears that you experienced starting the second business, and how it was more of a analysis of the calculated risk assessment before stepping into it. And then you also talked about how there was a clear pain point that you were trying to address, right? Because you mentioned that your son was a magician, and you definitely felt like this is something that if I'm having this problem, they have to be other mothers out there or other parents out there having the same problem. Now, so now everything's going, and now you're having to basically balance motherhood, family, and business. Are there any fears surrounding that, or have you had any struggles in that regard?
I would say time management has been a struggle, especially for me. I can speak right now personally, having a newborn at home. My daughter was born with 2 holes in her heart, which is known as a VSD, and she was in the NICU for 2 months, and then she had to have open heart surgery. So she's only been home for a couple of weeks, and originally the nanny that I'd hired backed out because she said that she didn't want to take care of a baby with health problems, quote unquote.
Oh, goodness.
So I've been having a really hard time finding a full-time nanny, someone I can trust, and someone that I, know will take care of my baby, so that I can get a little bit of work done or spend a little bit of time with my son. So for me, at this point in my life, time management has been a really difficult part of my day and my life right now.
Wow. Yes, no, I could see how that could be definitely a huge challenge. Yeah.
It's hard with 2 kids and no help.
Absolutely.
and my son's not in school anymore. And I'm like,
right. Yes, no, that's a compounding issue. Yeah, and then you don't have any family that could potentially step in at this point, or no?
Yeah, my husband's parents come by and they help out, but
it's not the same.
It's not the same. Yeah. They come and they help out for a few hours whenever they can, and they're lovely and they're very helpful. But it's not the same as having, help all day long, someone who's there, whose job it is to help you with the kids.
Absolutely. The one thing that I was wondering is if maybe, are there things that you could, since you're unable to outsource the childcare piece of things, is there any way that you're able to outsource some of the other things that you have to do at home that could maybe give you a little bit more bandwidth?
Probably.
Okay. The only reason I say that is because I know how we are, right? We're like, whatever, we can do it ourselves, or let's just do it all. But really, we shouldn't, right? We shouldn't do it all.
If it was normal times, I would say yes. But with COVID and the global pandemic, it's hard to bring strangers into your home. You don't know where they've been. You don't know if they have symptoms and they're saying that they don't.
Right.
We're just kind of in a really weird, strange time.
We are.
And the other thing is, usually when my son was born, we would be able to take him out of the house. We would go to restaurants. We would go here. We would go there. And just that feeling of being out and about and getting some sun and being around other people, it just, it made the day go by faster. So, especially because of my daughter, we have to be so careful about who we see and where we go. So that feeling of always being home is also another factor that makes, the day go by a little bit slower than it probably would.
Gotcha. No, you're absolutely right. This is definitely, this is good. This is good because I think that you are not alone in what you are experiencing and what you're feeling. So I think it's really important. But I guess I do have a concern in a sense that I hope that, so I know that you have an amazing support in Nora. I can tell that just from the vibe that we're having in this conversation. But I also hope that, both of you also have other sources of support. during this time because it's so difficult.
Yeah, we
For
have
sure.
family, which is very helpful, of course. And, you know, and having each other, honestly, is just, it's such a big part of our lives. I don't remember what day it was last week. I was like, you know what, Nora, I'm like, I need you to come and just like hold Juliet for like an hour. And she was like, no problem. She like literally went and like, she like put on her mask, came by, I like strapped a carrier to her and I put her on her chest and I was like, I just need an hour. And she was like, I got it. So just having, you know, having each other for support, you know, whether it's work, personal, babies, whatever the case is, it goes a long way.
That's so important.
And I think that's where women sometimes they tackle on so much, and you know, we don't like to ask for help, I've realized, and we just go to the point, push ourselves to the point until we break. And I think that's where we need to really, all women need to work on themselves in that sense, where, you know, you don't need to break to ask for help. You could just ask for help when you feel like you need it.
Exactly. No, that's a great point, because that's kind of what I was getting at. But, you know, I did not necessarily take into account, you know, that factor of the fact that, you know, people can't just come into your home if you didn't already have this relationship established and didn't already know their background and know that they're going to practice, you know, all of the safety things that are necessary currently to have them come in your home, particularly with a child who has, you know, who is more sensitive. We don't want, you know, we never want, you know, her to have any issues. And so, yeah, no, definitely. But it's good that you do have people close.
Yeah, like I remember Ani last week was speaking to someone, and she's like, oh, would you be able to wear a mask throughout the day? And the lady was like, no, I'm not going to wear a mask.
Oh, bye, Felicia. You're not coming to my house.
Can you believe it? I was interviewing a nanny and I said, you know, our requirement is you're going to have to take a COVID test before you start and you're going to have to wear a mask. And she's like, I'm not going to take a COVID test because I know I don't have coronavirus and you can't expect me to wear a mask for 8 hours in your home. And I was like, okay, bye.
Right.
Like, come on, lady. Like, you're caring for a newborn who just had open heart surgery, who has had 0 vaccines because she's unable to because she just had open heart surgery.
Right.
Like, come on.
Oh, geez.
So,
yeah.
Well, I guess the flip side, or perhaps the bright side, is that it was very clear that she was not a match for you.
Yes. True.
We figured that out in the interview. Could have been very different.
More than 5 minutes of my time. That's true.
Exactly. No, that's huge. Wow. Unbelievable. You know, I can get me started talking about that because, man, I have some strong feelings about that.
Don't we all?
Particularly seeing the patients in the emergency department, it's just kind of like, really? Why would you not just do the simple thing? I mean, it's not that hard. People all over the world are doing it. Like, it's not something that's impossible. But,
the things that they're calling it, and it's like, oh, I'm not going to wear a mask. The whole CO2 thing is like amazing to me.
Oh,
so all doctors are dying.
I can't believe
doctors are
yes.
dying.
And then how about if the fact that, you know, so all these years that we've been doing procedures, that we've been doing surgeries, that we've been doing all these things, wearing a mask, how is it that we're still here?
All alive. And your oxygen levels are okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's just so it's mind-blowing almost. It's kind of I just don't understand.
I saw this meme online that I was like, this is a perfect, accurate description of what's going on in the U.S. It's like, the U.S. is at the kids' table and everyone already ate their food and their vegetables, and we're refusing to eat our vegetables, and we just want to go straight to dessert. And it's like, we're literally that spoiled child at the dinner table. And,
that's a good one. That's
and
good.
I was like, that is such a great analogy. Like, all we have to do is eat our vegetables, aka wear a mask, and everything will be fine eventually. You know, but we refuse to do it as a country. So it's really sad. Yeah.
It is. It's definitely very very disconcerting, very mind-blowing. Even my children ask, like, Mom, I don't understand. Why do people not want to do this? Like, it seems so simple. Like, to them, it's like super simple. It's like, do this. Here's the outcome. You know, it's like, it's not a gray area. It's like, it's not going to be, it's not harmful to you. It's not going to do anything for you. It's going to be you doing a civic duty and making sure that you don't interfere with somebody else's existence and that they don't interfere with yours. And I don't know, they just don't understand why there's any contention or why there's even an issue. Yeah.
Yeah. We could go around and around and around on this topic.
Oh my
we
God.
don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. Oh my gosh. So tell me, so you mentioned a couple of things, like let's go back to your new product line that you're getting ready to do and the challenges that you've been facing during this time. How have you been able to navigate some of those? Can you share maybe like an example of something that has come up as a consequence of our current situation and how you've navigated that?
So one simple thing is with everyone being on quarantine, like we're manufacturing our products in India. Okay. And India's lockdown was actually longer than ours. So we had samples that were supposed to come to us. That was completely put on hold. Okay. And then, when you're launching a product, when you're creating a product, you go back and forth several times with samples because obviously you're not going to go with the first sample you get.
Right.
So that has taken about 4 to 5 months now because of all the delays. So our manufacturer is everyone's closed and working on limited staff for the entire year.
Okay.
And that's why everything is just taking so much longer. And, our graphic designer, she's amazing, but she's also a mom and she has her kids at home as well. So working with her is we're like, okay, we have to create the boxes for our new products. And that takes longer as well because we both have to coordinate our schedules with our kids. Okay, when could you get your mom to come help? When could I get my mom to come help? So then we could talk about the box. Right. So just things that normally wouldn't be an issue because we would be able to see each other or the kids would be in school are just taking so much longer because of everyone kind of being on quarantine still.
Wow. I didn't even think about that. I mean, see, these are the things, right? I mean, you go into business and you are, maybe it's these are the things that you wouldn't expect would be stumbling blocks. And then because of a global external force, right? This little external force.
The new brand, global pandemic. I mean, we've been through it all at this point.
Babies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ani had to have a baby during the pandemic. So
oh my god,
that's amazing. Yeah,
she actually had her baby. Ani, you had Juliet a week after they started letting spouses come in, right? So thankfully he was able to be there.
It was like 4 days after they lifted the restriction that a spouse was allowed in the delivery room because up until then it was so tight that they weren't allowed in. And I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I have to give birth alone. It was such a mind-blowing, anxiety-ridden moment for me. And luckily I barely made that cut. But right after I gave birth, he was allowed 2 hours in the room and then he had to leave too.
Wow.
And you drove yourself to the hospital.
I did. My water broke in the middle of the night and our son was asleep and it was 4 a.m. and I was like, well, we can't wake anyone up to come over right now. So I just drove myself to the hospital.
Hopefully the hospital wasn't too far from your house.
No, it wasn't too far. It was just, I think it's just a funny story.
That is funny because what if you had to pull over and then you push? You know what I mean? That's insane.
Okay, let's do this. And then I parked in the wrong parking lot because I was nervous and I had to get back in my car and move my car. It was just one of those moments.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's a story.
Yeah.
Goodness. Yeah, you're gonna have to make sure you share that one with her when she gets older.
We got a lot of stories to share with her.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. She was a troublemaker.
Oh, from the very beginning, huh?
Yep.
From day one.
It was a very difficult pregnancy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But you both made it through, which is what's important. So
we survived.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That is awesome. Wow. So, you know what? This has been such a good conversation. Wow. I didn't even realize that we'd start talking about all the things we've talked about. So that's fantastic. We had
You said
parenting
coffee talk.
pearls. It is a coffee talk. You know, we had parenting pearls. We had business pearls. We had all kinds of life lessons. This is
Global
fabulous.
pandemic.
There you go. We
opinions.
covered it all, ladies. We covered it all. So you have to let everybody know, because now, of course, now they know your backstory. Now they have fallen in love with you too. They're going to want to know how they can get items from the Norani Baby. They're going to want to know that. So you have to let them know how they can get in contact with you and the website and all that good stuff.
Yeah, everything's available on our website. Norani.com, Norani.com. We're also at a couple of boutiques in Los Angeles. We're at Cedars-Sinai Hospital, a little bit at CHLA. So all of that's on our website under the site maps, or you can order directly from us.
Awesome.
And our Instagram handle is Norani Baby. And I pride ourselves in our social media account, on our Instagram account, that it's just not just pictures. We offer a lot of informational things on our Instagram for new parents or parents to be. So
Tips,
you could learn
and
things.
charts.
Yeah, you could learn a few things by being on our Instagram. It's just not, whatever account.
Okay. And on Instagram, you are at Norani Baby as well.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Great. Because I want them to be able to reach you, right? To be able to see and follow your story.
We're very
So that's
responsive.
fantastic. Awesome. Yeah, Instagram is pretty cool. Instagram's a pretty neat platform. Yeah. I'm still trying to learn the system there.
By the time you learn, something new comes along and you're like, damn it.
I know. It's like it's constant change. I do. I have a 12. I have a 12, a 10, and an 8.
And hand over your phone.
Put your 12-year-old in charge.
Oh yeah. They're definitely very adept at everything electronic. It's almost like they're born with a phone or something.
Yes, it's crazy. My daughter was 18 months when she just knew how to navigate the iPhone. I'm like, how do you know this?
Right.
How? I don't understand.
I had to read directions. You just picked it up and just automatically knew.
Just knew.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating how to do that. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Wow. Such a great conversation, ladies. And so, I always have a little bit of like a tug, little heartstring tug when I have to bring the conversation to an end, which we unfortunately have to do. But we do have a really cool tradition that we do on the show, and it is called Filling in the Blanks. Are you ready? Ready to fill in the blanks?
Do it.
Okay, awesome. So the first one is, to me, fearless freedom means...
never giving up.
Never giving up, being yourself, holding your opinions highly, and holding yourself in high regard.
Awesome. Wow, it's amazing that you guys said the same thing.
We always say the same thing. It's so funny. We're like twins.
On the same page. Look at that. Great. And then the next one is, if I am fearless, I will
conquer anything.
Yeah.
Cool. And then last but not least, my battle cry is...
It's ugly face. You got to cry ugly face.
Oh, yeah. Ugly cry. Ugly cry.
I don't know.
You just gotta, your battle cry is to cry. It's okay. And just get over it. Move on, not stay in that cry mode.
Got it. No, that's good. That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah. Ani and I always have a joke. We have only 24 hours before we could be sad and cry and do everything, like be really low. Yeah. And then after 24 hours, you need to collect yourself and get on with your day.
Wow,
pick yourself up and move on.
That's good.
Yeah,
pick yourself up and move on. And we always call each other out for it.
It's kind of like tough love, but honestly, it's worked out great.
Sounds like a great way to go. Seriously. Yeah. You never are going to be stuck in that mindset of despair. You're going to be always moving forward. So that's fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. All right. So Fearless Freedom Tribe, be sure to check out Norani Baby. as well as at Norani Baby on Instagram, and learn much more about these two amazing moms who are crushing it as entrepreneurs as well. So thank you, ladies, for coming on the show. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having us.
So my children are
Hi.
the oldest one. That's the 12-year-old up there, and that's the 8-year-old.
You need to get on your mom's Instagram.
I know. They're saying that I should give my Instagram over to you so that you can crush it for me. That's like music. That's like music to their ears. Trust me.